A national treasure in your home. What if I told you it was possible to travel through time, visit every continent of the world, and learn about all of human history without leaving the comfort of your own home? Would you believe me? Well, far from being impossible, this is now a reality thanks to the wonders of modern technology and the innovation of the British Museum. Since its initial founding in 1753, the world famous British Museum in London has been intended to be a museum for every citizen of the world rather than for the aristocracy. A truly national museum, it has one of the largest collections in the world and delights, intrigue, intrigues, and offers insight to millions of visitors every year. As a result of this bonding principle of sharing knowledge with the public, entrance to the museum remains free to this day. Not only that, but the museum also organizes traveling road shows to stage exhibitions of antiquity, antiquities, coins, sculptures, drawings, and other artifacts all around the globe. Nowadays, of course, the world has moved on dramatically from the age of enlightenment when the museum was created by an act of parliament. At that time, Europe was revolutionized by the desire to create knowledge through rational though thought and the scientific discovery and a move away from the exclusivity of the university education system in more in modern times. Our attitude towards knowledge has similarly been radically transformed by technology such as the World Wide Web, which enables us to access unspeakable amounts of information regardless of geographical location. In this the digital age, it would be understandable if museums did not move with the times and remained as traditional bricks and mortar institutions crowded with camera born welding tourists. Yet the British Museum has taken on the challenge of utilizing utilizing technology to fulfill its original principle of sharing knowledge with the public. In recent years, the museum has delighted television and radio audiences as well as readers around the world with its series, The History of the World in 100 Objects. Unless you have been living under a rock, you will have come across this fascinating series made in collaboration, collaboration with the BBC, tracing human existence from 2 million years BC to the present through 100 artifacts, as well as being broadcast to homes. The objects themselves were flown around the globe to be exhibited in countries in an effort to share these international treasures with the world. Of course, the museum has also provided information, images, and video of its collection on its website. But now this is being taken to the next level. The latest project is to create a museum of the world accessible on the internet. The museum directors are keen to stress that this does not just mean putting the collection online. Instead, the innovative program, in collaboration with global search company Google, aims to allow visitors worldwide to actually visit the museum without leaving their homes. It is hoped that this will allow exploration of both the museum itself and human history to be charted by navigating the exhibits and making intellect, intellectual connections in new and exciting ways. There are three main approaches being taken in this all true altruistic project, and even more plans for future innovations. The first approach is the development of the Museum of the World microsite, which will also be accessible via Google's Cultural Institute. This will provide an exhaustive amount of detail about the exhibits, enabling both academics and members of the public to examine artifacts online in more depth than ever before, rather than low resolution images commonly found on museum web pages. This online portal will enable users to zoom in on images such as important 6th century Chinese scrolls to microscopic levels, offering a better view than is possible with the naked eye. Another method of bringing the museum to your computer screen uses Google Street View feature rather than mapping streets. This system of indoor imaging captures 360 views inside the museum as with the outdoor application. Users will be able to simply point and click to move from one exhibit to another, allowing them to wander around on a virtual walking tour at will. This naturally is a much more absorbing and intuitive experience than clicking on multiple links and from page to page. Best of all, since the street view image capture system wanders the halls at night, there are no crowds to contend with and no noises to distract the online visitor. Last but not least, many of the exhibits housed inside the museum and in other museums around the country have been rendered individually in a 3D digital drum and grouped together to create virtual exhibitions. Online visitors will be able to per purse, Paris, peruse artifacts such as Celtic objects housed in different locations in one thematic group. This gives the visitors far more options and control over the exhibits they see and how they see them than ever before, and many exhibition can be put together which would not otherwise have been possible. By no means are those in charge of these plans resting on their laurels either. In the future, it is hoped that the museum will continue to work in tandem with technology companies to disseminate knowledge around the world and build on the fundamental principle of the Enlightenment. In the 21st century, the directors plan to ensure that the museum becomes the private collection of the entire world by offering free and unparalleled access to the exhibits in even more exciting ways. Of course, nothing beats visiting a museum in person. The computer screen can only replicate the actual experience of seeing an object deep in history, such as an Egyptian mummy or an ancient clay tablet. However, as technology moves forward, it is not entirely unthinkable that virtual reality will make it possible to pick up and hold, to smell, or even taste digital objects, something that would certainly be frowned upon in a real museum. So remember, next time you feel bored watching television or when the rain is pouring outside, thanks to innovations in technology and the principle of providing access to national treasure to the public. You have the whole of human history one click away, free of charge. Free of charge. National treasure. Possible. Continent. Reality. Innovation. Initial. Found. Intent. Citizen. Aristocracy. Aristocracy. Collection. Intrigue. Insight. Principle. Entrance. Remain. Roadshow. Stage. Antique. Antiquity. 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 Coin. Sculpture. Artifact. 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 Revolutionize. Revolutionize. Rational. Rational. Exclusivity. Exclusivity. Attitude. Radically. Enable. Access. Unspeakable. Institution. Camera bone. Wild. Tourist. Utilize. Fulfill. Series. Object.